Hello and welcome. I'm Kathy Lee from Kathy's Creative Place. I'm back to share another project with you for Country Craft Creations as part of my design team projects. I created another card using the Prima Christmas in the Country papers, and I wanted to share this card as well as what it's sitting on, because as you can tell it's a little close to the camera. So this is actually an easel card. So it sits up like this, and it's actually sitting on top of my Advent box. Tammy has been carrying the boxes in her store so you can create an Advent calendar box for Christmas. This one, because I didn't have like any elements, like 3D type elements to create kind of a scene or something, I decided to use it by creating the card. Now, the fun thing about this is that this card is actually sitting on a spinner, so that every time whenever we have it focused on the days of the month that we're using, I can spin it around and it'll still be in the front. So this was really fun to create, very, very easy. So I wanted to give you a little bit of preview though on the card. I did supplement a couple of papers from Maja Designs on this as well, but this is an element from the collage papers from Prima, and I just cut her out with my Spellbinders die and then added a scallop die cut behind her. This is my Creative Time doily die. And then I also used some of my Stampendous, I think it's the brass brass embossing enamel. So what I do to kind of get the speckled look is I sprinkle it on top of, and I'll show you here, these little tags come out because I created a pocket here, but what I did is I just sprinkled a little bit and they come out a little speckled, and then I heat it from below so it doesn't blow the speckles off, because I don't put it on with any type of like the Versamark or glue or anything. I just sprinkle on and then I heat from underneath, and it melts, and it's really kind of pretty. It just looks sporadic and makes things look vintage as well. So I've got these cute little tags, and these are magnolia tags, and I put some seam binding on them, and then I cut out some pieces from the collage paper and use those as focal points on the tags. And then these little stickers are actually from Simple Stories Christmas Country Christmas collection. So those just slip right back in there. And then the rest of the card, I used several different panels, did some distressing and inking, and this is artisan cardstock from Tammy's store. I love the deep red of this one. It goes really well with this paper collection. I also had several different foliage die cuts here, and those are magnolia dies from my magnolia dies. And then these are Wild Orchid Craft flowers, and then these are some dies that I have in my stash called Rosy dies, and they're really small, and I just molded them to kind of cup, and they're really pretty. I put some gold stamens in the middle, and they're so cute. And then I also added some of these little sprays, and I get those from Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby in the floral section, and I just cut a few sections of them, and then I cut off the balls just to kind of use around the card as some interest and dimension. And then I've got a couple more little flower sprays from Wild Orchid Crafts. This is a magnolia flower, which is Sweden's Christmas or winter type flower. And then I also have a couple of slender die cuts here. They're little Christmas trees. It's kind of hard to see because it's very close to my camera. So I might turn down the light because it seems like it's a little bit bright. There we go. Now you can see them. So these are slender little pine trees, and I also put some embossing enamel on those as well. So that's the front of my card. The inside, I took these elements from the collage paper, cut them out, and used them for the focal point on the inside of my card. And then it just spins around when I get ready to use my box. I just thought that was kind of cool. I'm going to share a little tutorial how to create that spinner. So anyway, for the box, for most of the pieces, I just used some of my cut apart elements on the sides of the drawers, and then the pattern papers for my drawers. And these actually, I just did some hand cutting of some cardstock for the tags because I didn't have any numbered brads. These are actually from Simple Stories Country Christmas little sticker collection. So I found those and I used those on to number my drawers. And then these are just pearl brads for using the drawer pull, and they're actually pearl. I didn't have anything that was gold to kind of match the tone of these gold pearls. So what I did is I actually used some of my Distress Spray Stain kind of as a paint. So I just dabbed a little on a craft mat and then used a dry paintbrush and painted around them, and it came out perfect. So I'm really happy with that. And then this is this side. A couple of cut aparts, and some of the collage papers I took, and I cut the width of 3 drawers, and then just cut it in 3s to kind of keep it looking as the same it would, even though the tags kind of cover up. It's really kind of a pretty effect. And this is this one on this side, Santa, adorable. And then the last one, this is, again, a couple of cut aparts, and then I have this collage paper with a Christmas tree, and then this one with the barn scene. I love how that turned out. So that is my cute little Advent box, and has my little Isa card on a spinner. All right, so let's get to the tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm going to bring my tools in here. So what I did for my card is a 6x6 card. So I made a couple circles, and I have this old Fisker circle cutter. I have a couple other circle cutters as well, but this is kind of my go-to. I don't know why. I just really like this. And I've set it at 5 inside the cutter because that'll give me a 5-inch circle, which will fit within a 6x6 card. So and you can use any circle cutter. It doesn't have to be this one. So I'm just going to take my circle cutter and turn it around. Whoops, I'm really pressing down on this. And I may have already, there we go. Oops. There we go. Okay. So you cut out 2 circles just like that. So now you want to take your ruler and find the center of your circles. So I have a centering ruler here, and you can do it 2 ways. You know that it's 5 inches because that's what we measured. So you set it till it's as far as it'll go, and then we'll make a mark at 2.5, right like this, or you can use your centering ruler, and it'll be at 2.5 and 2.5 as close as it can on the edge until it can't stop, or until it can't go anywhere anymore, basically. And then I'm going to turn it this way and find the center as well. Okay, and there, right there. So this is the center. That's how I found that, where I'm going to set my hole. Now, because this is such a large piece, you can't use a basic hole punch. So I use my Big Bite, but if you have some other tools, and you don't have to do that as well, but I would recommend a punch, because you need your brad. When we put these two pieces together, you need your brad to move freely. So you can use some other tools, such as maybe your eyelet setter. So when you punch holes, just use your eyelet setter. I have a couple different ones. I have that one, and then I also have the old hammer type. So I've got a hammer, and I can just use my my eyelet setter, and oops, I'm out of camera. I can use my hammer and then my eyelet setter, and then just punch a hole that way. So there's a lot of different ways. Okay, so I'm going to use my Big Bite on this. So I'm just going to center it up. I've already got it ready to go. And I don't know if you can see where how that's going in there. Just center it right into that corner and punch. Okay, now we've got our holes. Now what we'll do is we'll put a brad, and you can use any brad. I'm just using an old brad that I have that's just a little flower brad, but try to use something that's flat on the surface. Okay, so we're just going to put the brad in here like this, and we're going to open the tines with this tool, because it hurts my fingers when it and then you push it down. Now don't push it down too hard, otherwise this won't spin freely. So I didn't like use this to push it really hard. I just want it to spin freely. So when you're getting ready to put your piece on, you'll just glue this part onto your surface, and then you will glue your card or whatever element piece that you have that you've built to go on the base, and you'll put glue only on the outside, not too close to the middle, and then it will freely spin around just like this. And then that's all I did to create this spinning card on my box. Very simple. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today, so I hope to see you back here soon. Thanks for joining me today.